2014 Winter Sports Banquet. Very excited to see everybody here tonight to celebrate another very successful season of athletics here at Abington High School, and specifically the student athletes of Abington High School that have made everything so much fun and so successful this season. It's very important that we take time to recognize and celebrate the success that each one of you, the student athletes, have achieved this year. Whether it's making a deep run in the tournament or something as simple as being a valuable contributor to a team, regardless of the level, it's important that we celebrate those things and that we do them together as a community. So that's why we're all here together tonight. Before we get started, I do just want to take a chance to thank a couple of people who would not have made this season as successful as it has been if they were not involved. The administration of the schools, from the superintendent's office to the principal, assistant principal, the faculty at the school. Ultimately, we are all students first, and it's important that we recognize the work that they put in to make sure that the education that we're getting is appropriate and goes alongside the athletic commitment. I'd like to thank Casey, the Associate Athletic Director, for all of her work, especially in the winter, allowing me to coach. Probably the most fun part of my job, and knowing that she was around to handle everything made things very easy. The cable crews. The fact that pretty much every game that you guys played was on cable and you guys can get a DVD is something that's pretty special. I know a lot of you appreciate it now, maybe your parents more so than you, but down the road it will be fun to go back and say, hey, remember that game we played, remember this, and you can go back and watch that stuff, and you can even get some tips from some of the commentators. I might not suggest listening to some of them, but they're certainly there for you to listen to. Bud Madden, who is helping out tonight behind the bar. A lot of what he does we don't necessarily see, but when you guys show up to the gym, everything is set up, and that's just because Bud does it. Because he supports you guys, and he just wants to help out. He doesn't get paid for it, he just wants to help out, and he makes sure that you guys are treated as well as you are. Obviously the Green Wave Boosters for everything that they do. The sub-varsity sports they pay for, and they made a significant donation tonight that helps pay for this. The KFC, the Knights of Columbus, for donating the hall tonight to make this possible, and the Abington Depot, who helped out with the food tonight. And the last group of people I want to thank is Sam Elefante, Ryan Mariano, Alex Nagel, and Brian Nickley, who helped out with a lot of different things. Helped out with a lot of different publications throughout the year, athletic department newsletters that go home, some of the programs that you see. They are getting involved with a lot of different things to help out and promote what you guys do. And now the two groups that we're here to celebrate tonight are our coaching staff and our student athletes. It's important that we recognize the coaches that we have. You guys in Abington are extremely fortunate to play for the coaches that you do. Some of you realize it now, and some of you will realize it in the coming years. I can truly say the coaching staff that you guys have in this winter is second to none. And it's important that you guys recognize the sacrifices that they make, that their families make, because they certainly put in way more than they get paid for, whether it's scouting trips, breaking down stats, all of that stuff, and helping you guys become better players. And ultimately, the biggest thing that I think they do is they help you guys become better people. And that's something that has to be recognized. And then especially some of our volunteer coaches, Bud Madden, Chris Ty, Bob Sebastian, Neil Bunch, and Nick Belafonte, all volunteered their time to help out. And finally, the reason that we're all here tonight is to celebrate the student athletes. This year we had numerous successes that we experienced on the field, from All-Stars. I'm sure we'll have several All-Scholastics when they announced. Tournament appearances, we had a great semifinal run, one team in the quarterfinals. Our cheerleading team qualified for the states. We won 2 regular season tournaments, the boys basketball team and the girls basketball team. In addition to our successes on the field, it's important to recognize some of the less publicized successes that we've had. We had our girls basketball team volunteer to go out and buy gifts for some children in the DCF to make sure that they had a Christmas. They, shopped, found things for girls their age, and made sure that they were going to experience Christmas. Our cheerleading team just last week was down at the Beaverbrook Elementary School giving their reading cheer, which was quite the sight. They were talking to the kids about their favorite books, handing out certificates for kids who had success in their reading program, and just promoting overall reading. We had numerous teams honoring Sergeant Facilian in different ways throughout the community. One team was able to raise almost $300 to donate in his memory. We hosted youth clinics, we had cheer coaches. It's important that we realize that the success that we see on the field is not the only success that these young student athletes are realizing. The last group in particular that I'd like to highlight is the seniors. If I look at the teams that we went into this year, in particular if you look at the hockey team and the girls basketball team coming off extremely successful seasons last year, where they both graduated double-digit seniors that had a significant impact on the team. The seniors on those two teams, and the boys basketball team as well, stepped right in and seized an opportunity. They had an opportunity in front of them where they could display a number of the characteristics that Green Wave student athletes consistently display. They led by example, and they did not allow anything but success to happen in their presence. The success that those two teams had, the hockey team and the girls basketball team, and the boys basketball team winning their season at the end of the year, I think is largely due to the senior leadership that they had. They left a mark on the programs, and they set an example for the underclassmen to follow. It's a unique situation to be a senior athlete, especially in a small school like this. And the growth that I saw personally in a number of these student athletes makes me proud to be their coach in the past and to be the athletic director at this school. And I think it is something that needs to be recognized and needs to be celebrated. So I'd just like to personally thank the seniors and recognize their success on the field and leading. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Associate Athletic Director Kate Casey to get our program started tonight.
Long-winded as someone else. So I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. Made some notes. Coaches, congrats on your seasons. You did an excellent job. You did a lot of things that the students don't see behind the scenes. Parents, thank you for all that you've done. Parents in the back too. To get your students where they are today. And volunteers for their help, and most importantly, the student athletes for what they have done. It was an excellent winter season. My new role allowed me to see every home game for girls and boys basketball, which was great. And I will admit, I had not been to very many Abington High School hockey games before this year, but I turned into one of your biggest fans by the end of the year, going to a lot of cold games in Rockland. I was glad Bourne had the end where I could warm up by the end of the season. The cheer competition, I learned more and more about cheering every day, which is very exciting for me. And before I start with the boys basketball team and their success with winning the Cotter tournament at the end of the year, I said it to some of the boys before the game, not many teams can end on a win. So the fact that you won your last game of the season, I think means a lot. And one more person to thank, Steve Shannon, for being flexible to have the boys basketball team start off tonight. So I will start with the boys basketball team.
For boys basketball, Coach Sebastian will go first with the freshmen.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Boosters Club for their support of the freshman program. Also like to thank the parents of this year's freshmen for getting their kids to and from practice on time and games. That was greatly appreciated. And I'd just like to thank the guys on my team We ended up with a record of 7 wins, 11 losses, but these guys worked hard in practice, they played hard during the games, and they continued to improve throughout the season. These guys also volunteered on Saturday mornings down at Beaverbrook, also with the youth basketball of Abington, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. Great group of guys, and I'd just like to wish them the best of luck in the future and call them up now to receive the certificates. Nate Blackmore. Sean Spencer. Dylan Little. Mike Barry. Alex Urbanski. Matt Dalton. Will Curtin. Dylan Stefan. Ricky Mancello. Nate Haggerty. Jake Tassone. And Joe Crown.
Coach Serena will now do the JVs.
Thank you, Coach Peters. Just a couple of things real quick. I'll try and be quicker, Kate. On our season, we had what I consider to be a very successful season. We finished 18-4 on the year, and we won our postseason tournament in overtime, which was very exciting. As a group, at the beginning of the year, we didn't know really what we were going to be. In fact, we all admitted at the end of the year we were hoping to go 500. But they bought into the team concept. We had a different leading scorer essentially every game, and very rarely did we have multiple players in double digits, and for the most part, we didn't have anyone in double digits. They truly played together as a team and did what we asked of them in their roles, and it led to a very successful season. So I just want to call the guys up to get their certificates. You can hold your applause till the end so we can keep things moving here. First guy, Javin Vincelette, Brendan Glavin, David Lyons, Andrew Johnson, Donnell Leon, Derek Hall, Ryan Landers, Evan Fanara, Josh Martin, and lastly our two captains who might with me for the second year, and their leadership was great. We had a couple of freshmen and a lot of young sophomores, John Kearns and Nate Reardon.
Okay, for the boys varsity team, just a couple thank yous from us. Again, I'm not going to name names, but I will just give the groups. Thank you to all the my coaches, assistants, volunteers, the scorers that we had, film guys. These guys are irreplaceable in like the stats and the things that we do and the looking back at games and game prep things. Boosters, certainly. Our hoop group, Abington Bank, for the things that they do for the program and sponsoring our tournament at the end of the year. Our MCs in the gym and our announcers on the tapes. Some team stats that we had, we were 9-11, certainly disappointing that we did miss the tournament by one game. And what's more disappointing is when we did go over it, we lost 5 games by 4 points or less. And some of those games were last possessions, and then you're doing your foul thing and things like that. So we were real close. These guys put out their effort every game we had. Big positives, we did win our Carter tournament at the end of the year. We finished the year at 3-1 in our last 4 with an overtime loss to Hull. And that was when we did have our backs against the wall. We needed to win all 4 to get in, and our team played very well. And I was real proud to be a part of that. I'm going to start with our sophomores, okay, and then you can all come up together. Sophomore Tyler Mariano, he played 11 games for us, and he's expected to take over the point guard duties next year. Dennis Cummings was one of our sophomores, and a great JV shooting year, and I hope he's able to show that next year at the varsity level. And Sean Donovan, he had great energy off the bench for us this year. He was our plus-minus winner for the year at plus 64. And I expect that he will be a leader on this team for a couple more years to come. Those are our sophomores, Tyler Mariano, Dennis, and Sean Donovan. Our juniors, Josh Reardon, he showed some flashes of offense on the JV level, and he could emerge next year as a solid role player on our team. James Landers was a junior. He started at the 3 position for us. He was our 3rd leading scorer. He was a top defender in the league, and he was one of our emotional leaders on the team. Lucas Sarasani was a junior. He was our leading scorer and rebounder on the team. He had a couple of monster games versus Carver and EB, and he really started coming on defensively the last quarter of the season. George Cellini, another junior. He progressed nicely as the season went along. He started really getting some JV minutes all the way to the end of the year, was where he was a varsity starter. And he finished 4th on the team in rebounding. And his potential next year is just depends on how much he's able to work on his game over the offseason. It's pretty much unlimited, and it's up to him. Robert Toomey is our last junior. He had a great JV year, and he played some solid varsity minutes. His problem is he was stuck behind some other solid big guys that we had, and he never stopped working hard in practice. So there's our juniors: Josh Reardon, James Landers, Lucas Sarasani, George Cellini, and Robert Toomey. Now our seniors, Vin Percati. He was a 3-year starter for us. He was a tri-captain. He was nominated for the All-Star team this year. Just missed it by a couple votes. He led the team in assists with 66. He led the team in steals with 41, and he led the team in minutes played. He was 2nd on the team in plus-minus, and he was basically the quarterback of our team out there as the point guard. Ryan Mariano, he was a 3-year starter for us. Also a tri-captain. He led the team in 3-pointers and free throw percentage. He was 2nd in minutes played. And he just has a great work ethic, and he is headed to the Naval Academy next year. And our last senior, Alex Nagel. He's a 3-year varsity player. Could have been a 3-year starter in other programs with not some of the players that we've had the last couple of years. He also is a tri-captain. He was selected as a unanimous Social League All-Star this year. He was definitely the emotional leader of our team. And basically, he was 2nd just about in every major category we had. Points, assists, rebound, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and played a pretty tenacious defense on most of the other teams' interior guys. So our seniors, Vin Percardi, Ryan Mariano, and Alice Nagel. We do have some major awards here for our team. Our 6th player award goes to a guy that came off the bench with energy every game. We call on him to play defense, to score, to do everything. He does have a great future coming up the next couple of years. So our 6th player award goes to Sean Donovan. Our Coaches Award. Our Coaches Award is just what it says. Picked by the coaches. Someone that comes in, works hard all the time, might score, might do other things, but is a pleasure to have. He practices hard, he plays hard, whether positive things happen out there, it doesn't really matter. But it's just someone that every single day is coming, and this guy every day led our team, was there early, was there late, wanted to shoot, wanted to do anything he could. I love telling this story that Coach Serino told me once, I think it was last year, that this young man came in early, 6:30 in the morning or something, and the hoops were up, so he couldn't shoot around. But him and his brother played one-on-one to see who got to the paint. And that's how they tried to get better that day, instead of leaving the gym and saying, you know what, we can't do anything, the hoops aren't up. So our Coaches Award goes to Ryan Mariano. Our next award, our Hustle Award. Our Hustle Award is sort of all the little things that go along in basketball. If you watch the Celtics, Tommy Heinsohn and Tommy points and things like that, we give points and we chart all sorts of things, diving on the floor, tipping passes, causing turnovers. It's not just scoring points, things like that. Rebounding, assists, steals, all sorts of stuff. Taking charges, stuff like that. We had the closest race since I've been here in the Hustle Award. 3 people tied with 6 games that they won in hustle points. Vin Picardi, Alex Nagel, and Luca Sarasani all came in with 6 wins each. And so I had to go to second place finishes, and the next gentleman had 4 wins compared to, I believe, 2 wins each for the other people. So our Hustle Award winner is Vin Picardi. Our last award is our Maury Award. That's our MVP of the team. This gentleman, as I said before, is a 3-year varsity player. He was a tri-captain as the other seniors. It was a tough selection, but he was the emotional leader of our team. As I said, he came in second in pretty much every major category that we had if he didn't lead it. He is our one All-Star this year. And again, his work ethic is tireless. So our Maury Award MVP goes to Alex Nagel. And to wrap it up, gentlemen, good luck, especially the seniors. It's been a pleasure. All of you have improved and been in this program for a long time, whether it was from SummerSlam, fast break basketball before me, then SummerSlam, and into freshman JV, and you've had everybody coming up, spring basketball, summer varsity leagues, everything. So good luck to you guys, and for the rest of you, getting back to the tournament starts pretty much now. And I know most of you are in your spring stuff already, you're in your AAU stuff, and that's what it takes in the off season if you want to be back where we want to be next year. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach Petras. The next group that I'm going to bring up is a sport that I have slowly learned a little bit more about over this past year. I thought I had it down at their competition at Whitman-Hanson, where I said to Coach Hicks, I think you guys looked great. That was one of the best I've seen, and she said it was, but she was very angry and I couldn't understand why. And then she informed me that somebody's shoe and bow fell off, and apparently that can't happen in cheerleading. So despite their performance, their score was low. But they continually overcame obstacles, injuries, shoes and bows falling off, and they made it to the state competition and are headed to nationals, which is a remarkable accomplishment. So Go Chicks for cheerleading.
Alright. I just want to say what an amazing year this has been. After finishing up our winter season, the past 8 months have been great memories. There's been laughs, tears, sweat, broken fingers, broken hands, broken wrists. It keeps going. Football games, basketball games, 1,000 water breaks, practicing with other South Shore teams, camps, clinics, the memories that could last for a lifetime. Girls, I just want to say thank you for an awesome and amazing year. It'll be one I'll never forget. We fought so hard to gain that 160, and we weren't taking no for an answer. I've tried year after year to instill in my teams hard work, and it does pay off in the end. It might not always happen right away, but sometimes it takes a few years to build a program, but eventually it does happen. The Abington High School cheerleaders have made a name for themselves, and that name was because of you. It was your hard work, your blood, your sweat, your tears. It wasn't handed to you, you worked hard, and you deserved that national bid. In our final weeks as we prepare for our national trip, I hope you take that same passion and drive you had 8 months ago and finish our season strong. Right now, I'd like to call up our members of our team. For our freshmen, we have Angela Varney, Jessie Kelly, Mackenzie Gardner, Molly Donovan, Marina Brennan, Melanie Beaver, for sophomores, we have Caitlin McDermott, Christina Antonetti, Alana Siegel, Abby Ricketson, Emily Loring, Tiana Risotto, and for juniors, we have Jenna Macheski, Jenna Sullivan, Julia Cabral, Claudia Barrett, and for our junior captains, we have Olivia Maley and Ashley McCain. So I have 3 awards to give out this evening. First, I'd like to start with my Underclassmen Award. The Underclassmen Award is awarded to an athlete each year that comes in and is able to excel within her first year of varsity. This member has been a crucial player on our team's success. She has grown confidence in her skills with its motion, stunting, or overall just being a team player. She was able to fill a position due to injuries, and she worked hard to gain skills just like other members did on the team, but it took them months to do. She's probably tougher on herself than I am as a coach on her, but she's a very determined player. It has been a pleasure to see how much she's overcome this season with all the new challenges and gaining all of her skills. This season, Underclassmen Award goes to Mackenzie Gardner. Next, my Coach's Award. This member came into the season ready to work. She's overcome obstacles in her way and has vastly improved in her stunting, tumbling, and demonstrates that hard work does pay off. She has worked harder this season than I've ever seen her in the past. She has shown true leadership within her teammates, and she has learned to adapt and take on any role needed for her members. She has been a pleasure to coach, and I look forward to being able to coach her again next year. This season's Coach's Award goes to Emily Loring. MVP award. This goes to a team member that comes in and works hard day in, day out. It goes to a cheerleader that has taken the initiative to work on her skills. She's been a pleasure to coach this year. She's proven to be a strong key member for her team. She's gone through her own struggles this season after having challenges with executing her tumbling. She then took her own initiative to go outside of practices and work on her skills. It is clear that this member has come back this season with a drive and a passion for her sport that is unlike any other. I look forward to seeing this passion and drive only grow with her successes at Abington High School. The MVP award goes to Christina Antonetti. I would just like to thank my parents. They've been an amazing support system for me this season. Organizing and trying to put together a trip for 17 athletes to Florida is no easy task. They have helped with fundraising events, selling raffle tickets, decorating our buses on competition days, and even getting the girls to practices at 7 a.m. on Saturday mornings. I'm really sorry about that. The girls and I have really appreciated your support and cannot wait to go to nationals and represent our town and do well. And finally, I would also like to thank Peter and Kate for making this another easy and successful season. Thank you both for all the time you put into the Abington athletic programs. And also a special thank you to Kate Casey for being able to step in and help me on the trip to nationals. I know she's looking forward to learning a lot more about cheerleading and a lot more about timing and spacing and anything else that goes into it. But I'm very thankful to have you with us on our trip.
Thank you. The next group I'd like to bring up is a group that, I won't lie, I didn't know how good they were going to be this year, but for some reason this program continues to be successful every single year, regardless of who is in the program. And being the boys basketball coach, I also, when they come into the gym, we'd be leaving. When we'd be leaving, they'd be coming in. And it seems like a group that consistently has fun. I don't really know what they're laughing at most of the time, but every time they come in, they are laughing and having a good time. And to me, that's what it's all about. And they were able to have fun and win almost every game that they played. So that's truly remarkable. So the Coach Moore and Coach Clifford for the girls basketball program.
Guys, just give me 5 minutes, all right? I don't know what, I don't know, were they laughing? I don't know. Shell drill, 16s, maybe when I drill Brianna with a Spalding ball, and that's for another day. But this season, like Coach Areno said, was one that I didn't know what to expect. And we, Coach Clifford and I, ask the girls every season to come up with their goals. And they're their goals, they're not our goals. And they came up with 10 goals. And we print them out, and Coach and I talk about it, and we look at it. And their last goal was win 19 games or more. And Coach and I looked at each other and said, we got a good team, but I don't know if we've got that good of a team. And we knew we'd compete. We knew we'd be successful, but you know, I was talking to Sammy in our meeting, and I said, you know, it's 19 games, that's real aggressive, and I don't want you to, you know, feel that you failed if we don't win 19 games. And her quote, her exact quote, and I'll probably mess this up, so, but she goes, and we're sitting in our individual meetings, and she goes, well, why would we think anything less of us than last year's team? And Coach and I looked at each other and said, well, you're right. Why can't we be just as successful as, as them? And they worked extremely hard. I'm not the easiest person to be around for 2.5 hours a day. I demand a lot of the girls academically and basketball. And I just want to thank them publicly for giving me everything they got for 3.5 months. And I know it's difficult. 6 days a week, It's 2.5 hours a day, and sometimes more with film. It's vacations, it's December, it's February, it's weekends. So I just want to thank you guys for the commitment, dedication, and the excellence that you put forth to this program. Before I thank a few more people, I'd just like to turn it over to Coach Clifford.
All right, the JV team had a successful season this year. They finished up 11-6. I think probably two of the most memorable games. I know they were definitely memorable for me. We had to play 2 games this year with only 6 players in uniform. Having coached for 20 years, that had never happened before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I asked the team just to compete, do the best they could under the circumstances, try to give the other team a competitive game. They did more than that. They went out and won both of those games. I think that is a testament to their competitiveness and their drive and their toughness. And I just want them to remember that as they go forward, not only with their athletic career, but with their life. You're a lot tougher than you think you are, and there's nothing that life can throw at you that you can't overcome. So without further ado, we'll hold our applause until the end again, please. We have Olivia Whalen, Jill Megan, Jennifer Feeney, Kaylee Campbell, Alyssa Devlin, Ashley Gearing, Sarah Cochran, Maggie Colley, Amanda Beaver, and congratulations to the junior varsity girls basketball team. Our Coaches Award was an easy choice this year. It goes to our leading scorer and leading rebounder, and I don't think she missed a minute of a single practice. Jennifer Feeney, congratulations.
There's a few people that I'd like to thank that made our season extremely successful. First, the players, I already did that. Without them, without their hard work, their dedication, they're willing to work. And I know sometimes it's not fun. And you know, we talk about that as one of our goals, to have fun. And winning's always fun. Winning's always fun. But the work that takes you to get to that spot of 19 wins or 15 wins or 17 wins, whatever it is, you know, in our case 19, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, and they were willing to do that this year. There was no complaining. Everyone was unselfish. They were willing to you know, put the team first, which is, as a coach, is something that you look forward and you say, you know what, they'll always be successful if they're willing to share, they're willing to be unselfish, and just doesn't matter whose name's in the paper, doesn't matter who scores the points, it matters that, you know, the wins are Abington and the losses are the other teams. So on the players for their commitment to the program, the parents for their support, and I know sometimes when you get to drive down to Monomoy when there's an accident on Route 6 and it takes you 2 hours and 15 minutes to get down there, and it's nice to just look across the court and see some familiar faces cheering us on. Mr. Matt Thompson for filming the games. What an asset that is to have games that we can look at to see, you know, where we need to make our adjustments, where we need to make our changes. My wife's not here, but I just want to publicly thank her for her understanding with 2 young kids at home, her support for the last 3 months. It's not easy being a coach's wife. I know Mr. Serino talked about that. I'd come home from practice and I'd grab a clipboard, kiss my kids goodnight, and then I'd be heading out to scout a game, and she'd be looking at me holding a 2-year-old crying. And I'd be like, sorry, gotta go scout that game. And she is just an unbelievable person, supporting me through some of my passions, and that's, you know, basketball. Kim Reed's not here tonight. She's at play practice. She's getting ready for her her performance on Thursday night. But Kim Reed is an unbelievable person. She is the most unselfish person that I know. She doesn't get any awards. She doesn't get her name in the paper. She doesn't, she gets a free t-shirt, that's it. And she is there every single practice. She comes on the weekends, and she does a book, she does the clock. She has an unbelievable knack for attention to detail. She'll check my book to make sure all the numbers are right, make sure all the people are in there, so it doesn't get us a technical foul. And without her, we wouldn't be as successful as we are a program. And I know she doesn't put the ball in the hole, she doesn't dribble, she doesn't practice. Well, sometimes she practices with coach when she has 6 people. She's out there in jeans and a t-shirt playing defense. But without her and her unselfishness, we wouldn't be as successful as we were. Coach Clifford, I am extremely lucky to have someone of her ability. She has an unbelievable basketball IQ. She puts so much time and commitment into the program for the girls and for me. It's when she speaks, I listen. And as a coach, you have to surround yourself with good people, and I've surrounded myself with good people, players, parents, managers, but most importantly, my assistant coach, because her knack for the right word to say is unbelievable. So I just want to have a round of applause for Coach Clifford. We wouldn't be where we were without her. She's such a blessing to have sitting on the bench. Sometimes we don't always see eye to eye, but we're family, so we can have those disagreements. Girls awards. Please hold your applause. Coach. Freshman Jen Wooden. Hold your applause, please. Ferguson. Sophomore Colleen Kearns. Sophomore Hannah Rogers. Junior Molly Ferguson. This is the reason why we laughed during practice, I guess, right here. Not embarrassing, am I? Junior Sydney Hamilton. Junior Brianna Donovan. Junior Aaron Foley. Junior Captain Maura Hurley. And Senior Captain Sam Thompson. Our first award is going to be our Coach's Award. And Coach and I thought long and hard about who would be the best recipient of this award. And we have a lot of people, like I said, that put a lot of time and effort into the program. And this young woman, in any other program, would have been a 3-year starter. And because of the success we've had for the past couple of years, she's been behind some fantastic players. And some of them are 1,000-point scorers, some of them are playing at the next level, some of them were 3 to 4 year starters themselves. And she just never quit. And she always knew that, you know, if you need a shot, I'll hit a big shot. I'll play someone bigger if I have to. I will play. She played 40 consecutive minutes in a double overtime against Lincoln Sudbury that unfortunately we lost. But after that game, I looked at her and she gave everything in that game and more, and she had nothing to give. And this is a person that was a Social League All-Star, and she just gave everything to this program for the past 4 years. I can remember, I was talking about this on senior night, I can remember when she was, I don't know, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and we were playing shooting games, and she was just hated to lose to me, and I wasn't going to lose. I was going to beat this 4th grader, and I wanted, you know, I mean, I can remember, all right, she's going to come up in a few years, and she was just a fantastic person to coach for the past 4 years. Our Coaches Award goes to Senior Sam Thompson. Our next award is our triple-double award, and I know some people know about basketball, and the triple-double, means points, rebounds, assists, and all those things are really great things when it comes to basketball. But we talk more about a program with commitment, dedication, and excellence. Commitment on the court, commitment in the classroom, dedication on the court in the classroom, and then excellence on the court and in the classroom. And this person was our best defender. We asked her to cover the other opponent's best player all the time. We say, hey, you got to keep him to 12, you got to keep him to 15. When we would ask her to play the best defend the best player, and then also bring the ball up against pressure. We need you to make sure everyone's in the right spot. And there was many times when she'd be looking around and coach told her who to play, and someone else is playing her man. She's just, all right, I got to play someone else. And she didn't roll her eyes, she didn't complain, she just did it. Okay, she just did it. And she's also a Social League All-Star. She is a person that just put the team first. And that's a sign of an unselfish basketball player, and it's a pleasure that I have an opportunity to coach her for another year. Our triple-double award goes to Junior Aaron Foley. Last award, most MVP, most valuable player, MVP. This person was the first person to practice, last person to leave. And she averaged 17 points a game, 7 boards. She was the MVP of the Situate tournament. She was all tournament team at the Mansfield tournament. She was the best player at that tournament. We played Mansfield, Dartmouth, and Lincoln Sudbury, all Division I, Division II teams, and she was the best player on the court. And I know that because she scored 20 points in the first half against Lincoln Sudbury, and they came out and they triangled in 2, and they put 2 people on her. So they had a person in front of her and a person in back of her, and they didn't let her touch the ball. And it's kind of a compliment to her, it's nice, and then she goes out and scores 5 more points with 2 people playing her. So this person, his future looks incredibly bright. She's a person that loves the game of basketball. She constantly wants to get better. At our individual meetings yesterday, we talk about pros and cons of the season. I said, what do you think you need to improve on? Defense and rebounding. And that's what wins games. It's nice to put the ball in the hole, and she can do that. Like I said, she had 377 points, 17 points a game. But she knows she has some weaknesses. She knows, I need to get better on defense. I need to get better rebounding to make our team better. Our most valuable player for 2013-2014 is Jen Wooden. Good luck to all the seniors and all your future endeavors.
Thank you, Coach Moore and Coach Clifford. The next group is a team that, again, similar to the girls' basketball team, lost a lot of seniors, and I didn't know how they were going to be. In fact, early on, me and Coach Smith were just joking about this. I walked into Rockland Rink. I hadn't been to many hockey games, and I walked in with the Rockland AD. And he says, last year this place would have been banged out, but, you guys are down this year, so I don't think the crowd will be that good. And I was like, I guess it makes sense. We lost a lot of seniors. And then in the third period, I lean over to the AD and say, wow, you guys must really not be that good because we're beating you if we're down. And then as Smitty pointed out last week, he said, why don't you shoot a text over to the Rockland AD and ask him, what his team's doing because we're the only ones still playing. And it was a remarkable run that this team had. Coach Smith, I'm sure we'll talk more about it, but it was an absolute pleasure to watch this group play. As someone who, is a basketball person, not a hockey guy, just watching them go to the rink, seeing them work hard, seeing them tutor each other outside the classroom, how they came together as a team, and the leadership that they had. It's no mistake the success that they had despite their youth. It was an absolute pleasure. Coach Smith.
All right. I'm a little nervous. Look at this crowd. So anyway, we had a pretty good season, definitely unexpected. We ended up making quite a run into the playoffs, to the semifinals. And what I want to talk about is I just want to talk about the team and what we wanted to get out of this team this year. And one of the things that I always try to teach is that they're getting better individually, but really what they're representing is they're representing the team, they're representing you guys, and they're representing the town. And I can tell you, I don't live in Abington, but I can tell you that this is one of the toughest towns that I've ever seen. And it shows in these kids. And I know I don't have a lot of interaction with the parents during the year, but what I do want to say to you guys is that you've brought up some great kids, and I thank you for that. Thank you. You owe yourselves a hand. I can tell I'm nervous by the way I'm talking here. So during the course of the season, we didn't really have a personality. The team, we were just trying to get the systems down, and we were just trying to get everybody on the same page. And we're about to go play Cohasset. And I always say, like I said, there's something bigger than just us. It's the town, it's us, it's the group. And we had a tragedy in town. Danny was killed in Afghanistan. And this is something that our team rallied around. And I'm starting to get emotional now. Jeez, I'm a mess. So what we did is we dedicated our season to Danny's memory. And it was unbelievable. It really brought us together as a team. And it was something bigger than ourselves. And it was really our warrior mentality that we had the success from. So you earn my respect every second of the way. Every one of you earn my respect. With that said, I want to talk about them as a team, and I can get into individual stuff as we go through here. But just so you know that it was a bigger picture that we had this year, and I respect you guys for it. You earned it. Thank you. I'll just go through the certificates, and then we'll hit the awards. Jake Quinlan. I'm even shaking. Hi, Shaman. All right, we got Mike Morse. All right, Mike's sick, right? Why don't you come up, Jake? You look like him. You guys talk them as much. I got them both. You gonna say your first word to me all year right now? Joe Morella. Hobbling up here on his foot. Sean Linehan. Owen Leary. Anthony's sick, so he's not. I'm not sure if he's sick of me or sick. Matt Curran. The lawyer from Fort Lauderdale. His pants. This guy doesn't have a first name. His name is just Cookie. Hardest working kid around. Take your time. Chevy. Nick Baxter. Gotta shave that thing. Nick had to give up his skates a bunch of times this year. Andrew Cardin. Defenseman slash goalie. Brian Denny. Gave his skates up last game. Chris Fay. Not sure if he's going to smile. Can he smile? I don't think Chris can smile. There it is. Owen Kearney. Owen with a bad knee at the last game. Thank you. Owen had to get a doctor's note to sit on the bench. Marcus Little. Show dirt. Tyler Merrick, defenseman slash goalie. Kevin O'Neill. All right, we're getting there. Jason Polito is sick of me as well. Justin Doherty. Okay, just get to the awards. And this award is our most improved award, and it goes to obviously the most improved player, but it also goes, this year, it has a lot to do with work ethic and commitment to the team. And this player here came out to practice every single day and just worked his butt off, no matter what. He just was ready every single day. He was first in sprints. Whatever he had to do to get better, he did, and totally earned my respect. And again, he does not have a first name. His name is Cookie. Take your time again. Okay, the next award is our Coach's Award, and this big shoes to fill in this award because the last winner was the last 4 years. It was T.J. Antonetti, hardest working kid that I have ever coached. But this year the award is a little bit different. You know, we coach with a chip on our shoulders. We know that we're not the most popular coaches and team in the league, and we're okay with that. So this is really the epitome of how we coach, and I'll give you a quick story. I was going through the line at the Cape Tech game, and the coach came up to me and he said, number 12 kind of plays a little bit of an attitude, huh? I'm like, yes he does. Yes he does. So our Coach's Award goes to Chris Fay. Our next award is the 7th Player Award, and normally a 7th Player Award goes to a player that comes out of the woodwork, is not expected to contribute. But I can tell you one thing, that this year this is not the case. And the reason why I'm changing this a little bit is because I wanted this player out on the ice all the time. And he has been an absolute unbelievable player to coach for 4 years. And I'm sorry to see him go. Again, getting emotional. Terrible. And this player, he's a quality kid, and I wish him all the luck in the world. I hear that he may have committed to Mass Maritime, which is a great choice, and that is Joe Morella. So Chris, I was listening to your speech up here, and you had clocked minutes for players, and I thought to myself, how do I clock this guy's minutes? And this is the most valuable player award, and I think this guy may have got 3 days in, maybe, I think, if we were going to count minutes, because he was out on the ice constantly, and he has just been an unbelievable player for me for 4 years as well. Along with Joe Morella, they both have scored over 100 points in their career, which is unbelievable for a hockey player. And Jake, you're just a stud that can play hockey, and I hope you continue playing hockey. I really do. You need to go play hockey somewhere, in college, juniors, wherever you need to go. But you can't stop here, kid. You can't. You do yourself an injustice. My most valuable player, and I think for the past 3 years, is Jake Quinlan. Thanks for dressing up for me. Appreciate that. In closing, I just want to thank you again for being such a great group of kids to coach. And I do have to say one more thing, that if it wasn't for Matt and Joe and Jake, my captains, mentoring some young kids, we wouldn't have the success. And I thank you for carrying the team on your back, because that's what you did. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
One last hockey thing before we move on. Coach Smith had mentioned both Jake and Joe had scored over 100 points in their career, which is a remarkable accomplishment. And Joe Morella has actually had us scouring the record books, which don't exactly exist. It's a lot of phone calls and emails. And up until this point, we have not found anyone who has had more career points than Joe Morella. So he could potentially be, and we're still working on it, the all-time points leader in Abington High School hockey history. So I just want to point that out. This next sport is brand new to us, wrestling. For the first time in Abington High School history, we had an opportunity for our students to go wrestle. It came together kind of last minute in the fall. And the administration and the school committee and everybody supported it and said, yeah, let's go for it. Let's give our kids a chance to try something new. And they did. They were able to go over to Rockland. We had 4 people try it out, 3 people stuck with it and did remarkably well. They'll formally be recognized at Rockland's banquet, as almost the entire team was from Rockland, but we did want to point out a couple things about them here. In talking to Coach Tim Brown, he couldn't make it tonight due to other commitments, but in talking to him, I said, is there anything you want me to mention? He goes, I don't even know where to begin. Abington kids, just like Coach Smith said, are some of the toughest kids around. And he said what they brought to the team, even though there was only 3 of them, kind of changed the attitude of the team and made it a better team. Not just because they were able to wrestle, but because of what they brought to the team in general in terms of attitude and commitment. And I think that really speaks volumes, not just of those kids that were able to go over there and wrestle, but Abington in general, that one of our rivals and their coach recognized what we can do to make them better. And I think that's something that we should all be proud of. I do want to just acknowledge the 2 of the wrestlers that couldn't make it tonight. I don't believe they snuck in. Eric Brack and Troy Panico. And this last wrestler, I had a hard time getting Coach Brown off the phone when I had to go teach, because he just wanted to talk about this individual and how awesome they were and how much they meant to the team. And he wanted to know if we could give her a special award. And I said, absolutely, what do you want to do? And he said, it just has to be the toughness award, because this is one of the toughest kids he's ever encountered. And this is a guy who was an Army Ranger, he does CrossFit, and this is what he does. And he was just blown away by this individual's toughness and what they brought to the team every single day, how hard they worked, never complained. And he admitted, and as did their athletic director, they didn't think that she was going to last on a male wrestling team. Because in the history of Rockland Wrestling, which is one of the more decorated programs in the area, they had never had a female last a season. They had had plenty of girls come out and try it, but none of them lasted. And a week in, he called me and said, you can't let her leave us. She is so good to this program, and she means so much. And I said, Coach, I don't think we have to worry about that, knowing Christina the little bit that I did. So the Toughness Award for the Abington Rockland Wrestling Team goes to Christina Howe. And that's a co-op that we hope to continue, and hopefully it will continue to grow and provide Abington kids with more opportunity to take part in some different things. This next part of the program, I'd like to bring up the Boosters president, Jack Porcello, who represents an organization that we can't say enough about. I know everybody in this room truly appreciates what you and ultimately your organization does to allow these student athletes to play, to allow us to have a banquet here, and to do pretty much anything. One quick story is during tournament time, everybody's getting fan buses to go places. And on Twitter, I put up that, it was, $8 and included the ticket, and I get some calls from my athletic director. What bus company are you using? Because I see other towns are charging $10. Don't forget, you have to pay another $6 to get in, this and that. I say, it's not a problem here. They get angry when I can't fill a fan bus. And that's just one small example of what Jack and his organization does behind the scenes to make Abington the place that it is. So here's Jack Porcello to present the jackets on behalf of the Green Wave Boosters.
Thank you, Pete. It's been a night of thanks, and I want to continue with that just a little bit. The organizations, the teams here tonight, they do a phenomenal job. So on behalf of the Boosters, on behalf of me as a resident of the town of Abington, as a parent of a student athlete, I want to thank Pete and Kate for the job that they've done as athletic directors this year. I want to thank all of the coaches for the time and dedication that they've put into our student athletes to make them what they are, to bring them to the semifinals, to the quarterfinals, to national championships. It's because of them that our student athletes are able to do what they do. I'd like to thank the parents. You folks have done a great job. You've raised these kids from a young age, I would assume. And they wouldn't have made it to this level if it wasn't for your support throughout the years, making sure that they got to practice on time, making sure they made it to those youth tournaments wherever they happened to be. I think cheerleaders, you just went down out west, I think go to Springfield and take a left and drive for an hour. So thank you for all of that. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the student athletes. I'd especially like to thank you for this winter season. You have given us a phenomenal ride, and we want to thank you for letting us join you and come along with you. What do the Boosters do? Pete mentioned it briefly. We're here to support Abington Athletics. When Pete makes a call and says, look, we have a playoff game, it's down at Gallo Arena, we'd like to put together a fan bus. Yeah, we step up and we'll help fund a little bit of the money for that. We're having a winter banquet. Great, no problem. We'll help you out with some money for that. I'd like to thank the volunteers for the Boosters for their dedication to make that happen. I'd like to thank the residents in town who come out to our fundraisers that we have throughout the year. March 22nd is trivia night. If you haven't already booked your table, come on down, book your table. It's a great night. It raises money for Boosters,
that we can give back to our student athletes that allow them to get that fan bus, to fill the stands with fans that are cheering them on as they proceed to go down the road of championships. One other thing we like to do is to boost the varsity jackets. And you've heard a lot tonight from the different coaches. They've talked about the 5 pillars. They've talked about toughness. They've talked about teamwork, pride, character. One of the pillars that they touched on as well is service. Now, in order to earn a varsity jacket, obviously you have to be a varsity player. You have to be a varsity player on the same team for 2 years, or a varsity player on 3 separate teams. And that's not all it is, though. There's also a service commitment to it. A service to the boosters to help out with the booster door-to-door drive, help out at basketball games, at football games. Just be there when you're needed and give back to the community in some small way. We have 7 jackets to be awarded tonight, and all of these students have met those requirements. They've done their service, they've earned their varsity jacket, and it's an honor for me to be able to present it to them this evening. Sydney Hamilton. Athletes, after you've received your jacket, please stay up here so we can get a nice picture and put that out to everybody. Caitlin, where's Caitlin McDermott? Molly, I believe it's Molly Ferguson. Christina Antonetti. Christina Howe. Christina, you'll look even tougher in this jacket. And Owen Leary. Congratulations to all of our student athletes for completing the requirements to earn their varsity jackets for this winter season. Smile pretty for the camera, though.
I'd like to present our South Shore League All-Star Awards. These are voted on by the coaches in the league, and the nominations also come from the coaches. So this is quite the honor, not just to be recognized by your coaching staff, but it's the ultimate compliment because your opponents are recognizing you. We had quite a few this year. We're going to start with boys hockey. Jake Quinlan, Joe Morella, and Chris Fay. Next we have cheerleading. We have Marina Brennan, Ashley McCabe, and Olivia Maley. Girls basketball next. We have Sam Thompson, Erin Foley, and Jenny Warden. And lastly, we have boys basketball. He had to depart to be the captain of the play, but Alex Nagel.
guys feel good. Close enough. Smile, Joe.
Thank you. And before we close tonight, we have two last things. First, we have the winter sports slideshow that the athletic department interns Ryan Mariano, Alex Nagel, and Sam Melafonte put together. It's on the back wall. It's the best thing we can do. Mr. Nagel, if you could make the lights for us.
You gonna sit on Sweetie's lap?
in particularly Mrs. Curran for taking the pictures and allowing us to put that slideshow together and everything else. So in closing, just thank you to the student athletes. You allow us to do what we do. Coach Moore mentioned it's one of his passions. Our passion wouldn't be possible without you guys, and I hope that you take a lot of the examples that your coaches were talking about, the traits that made you successful this season, and apply them in life. Best of luck to you guys, and have a good night. Thank you.
I think he's going to be in the NHL. That's a lot. No, I didn't take a picture. I shake it. Come on, Jennifer. And Maggie.
Lot of straight cheeses.
What's that?